It all started when Dr. Coughlin sent me to Waverly, and I met my student, and I helped her read. Hi, I'm Atea, and my life is kinda crazy. Today, I will be telling the story of how my learner went from being a not interested speed reader to a deeply engaged learner. When I arrived at Waverly Middle School, I was excited and a little nervous. Excited to be in a middle school setting because this is my ultimate dream, but nervous because this was going to be one-on-one teaching. I'm used to having a teacher over my shoulder, ready to help me if I fall. But despite all of that, I walked into the day with a smile. I was not met with the same energy. I met my student, we'll call her Minnie, on the first day, and she was not happy to see me. She knew I was coming there to make her read. I was informed by her teacher that she does not like to read at all. When we moved to the library, I introduced myself and she told me her name as well. We began reading and I instantly noticed that she read extremely fast. Too fast to even try to understand what she has read. She didn't mispronounce many words, so I knew there was no lack of vocabulary or sentence structure, but instead an issue in recognizing the purpose of our reading. Thus, I knew I needed to apply the bottom tier of the modified cognitive model in order to help her become the best reader she could be. Now, becoming a good reader is not an overnight job, and teaching your student is not a one-way track. I first began with the asking questions literacy strategy. I began by modeling how I asked questions throughout the text. I read a passage and wrote down my questions as well as read them aloud. Minnie observed what I did and nodded her head. I asked her to read the next passage and try to ask questions like I did. She read through the section slower than normal, but she didn't ask many questions except, what is an inauguration? I had tons of questions that I thought she would ask, but it just was not the right fit. Back to the drawing board. I began to think about all of the conversations we had, small key things she had told me over time, and comments from her teacher. Why do I have to go? Why are we reading this? What does this have to do with me? And then it hit me. Minnie needed a why. Minnie needed to have a connection in order to be interested in what she was reading. I flipped and flipped through my Tavani text and found exactly what I needed. I then switched to the making personal connection strategy, and the clouds parted and the sun shined through. I modeled how I make personal connections to John Lewis's story, and she did the same. She began to make connections to her house and his, her siblings and his chickens and her dogs. After that, she really began to care about what she was reading. She even pointed out things to me that I didn't notice. Minnie definitely pushed me, but I learned a lot. This will surely go into my toolbox for my future students. In math, it is key to connect what is going on in the math classroom to the students' current and future lives. Instead of saying, Johnny had 30 bottles of dish soap, we should instead teach Johnny had 30 Lego pieces. This will help students visualize what is happening and also apply it in their everyday lives so that they can truly learn and understand what is happening. Literacy is more than reading and writing. It refers to abilities to speak as well in different contexts and discourses. Before, I thought that literacy was as simple as being able to read and write in a reading class. I now know that literacy applies in different contexts and is ever changing. Literacy is not just what we teach our children, but it continues to grow as we are adults. For pushing me to become a better teacher and learning in her own way.